Today I think I'm going to switch things up a bit. Huh? Huh? Bad pun? Now it's a very rare occurrence today to run onto any ATV or UTV on the trail that doesn't have a bunch of accessories added to it. And these things are like a blank canvas that's ready to be customized. Between light bars, sound systems, cappuccino espresso machines, hey, whatever. The possibilities really are endless as to how you can customize your machines. Now I haven't done a whole lot here to my 500 or my 1000 sitting back there, but I do have plans to add some auxiliary lighting and stuff later on. So in order to keep things from getting all clustered up and to have switches all over the place, we're going to install some switch panel plates on both of these machines today from Pioneer Switch Plates and Accessories. Now here's everything that we're going to install. We have a switch plate here for the 500, and we have our switch plate here for the 1005. Now right now all I'm going to add to each machine is a voltmeter. You can see here for the 500 I have a voltmeter that will also double as a USB charging station, and for the 1000 here I have two voltmeters we're going to install, one for the main battery, one for the auxiliary battery, and then my switch for the winch that I have on, KFI Stealth Winch. Now these switches here, what I'm going to do is hook up all my voltmeters to power on off switch, so I can hook these up directly to the battery but not have them run full time. I can turn them on and off. Now you can have these switch plates ordered for a bunch of different configurations however you want, as far as you can have more switch blanks put in, more gauge blanks put in. You can have a hole here cut for the Jensen round radio, and all these plates are made out of 16 gauge steel. They're laser cut, so all your cuts are nice, smooth, and precise. There's no jagged edges or roughness to them. And then they're powder coated, so they have a tough, durable finish that's going to last the life of the machine. Now the switch plate here for the Pioneer 500 is made to go right here where this nice, big, in-your-face warning sticker is. But the first thing we got to do is get this plate off, which means we're going to have to drill these rivets out and then pry this plate up, because not only is this plate riveted, these things are also stuck fast too with sticky stuff. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is take my drill with a 5/64 bit and drill these rivets out. Now you might not have a 5/64 bit, so basically just find a bit that's close enough to match what the holes in your rivet are and it'll work just fine. And then once you have all four rivets drilled, you can just take a flat screwdriver and pry your plate off. You hang it on your wall, I don't care what you do with it. You know what I'm going to do with it? Alright, now we have the factory warning plate off. We need to figure out where we got to cut to allow our switches to go through. So I'm just going to put this in place here, line up the holes, and trace this here. And just kind of do these corners of these outside ones. Now that I've got that marked, I'll go ahead and make my holes slightly bigger than what I actually need. Now the first thing I'm going to do is drill my hole for my voltmeter. And if you have a hole saw kit, it makes this quick and easy. If you don't, you can just cut this square with a jigsaw or even by hand with a little fine-tooth saw. But I have a hole saw here, so I'm going to use it. Now this is an 1 3/8" hole saw, which will make our opening big enough that our voltmeter will just slip right through. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up, drill this hole. Just remember, you always want to make sure what's behind anything you're drilling to make sure you're not drilling into any wires or anything, which I already have the hood off. I've already checked. This is just open space behind there, so we are good to go. Now for our square here where our main switches are going to go, I'm going to have to use a jigsaw on. First thing I'm going to do is take a 5/16 bit and drill some holes here that allow me to get my jigsaw blade in place. And I want to drill these so that my hole is just to the outside of the lines I've marked. The only thing that's important here you watch is you stay away from where your plate is actually going to connect with these holes, because you don't want this to be too thin and flimsy and then not hold. Okay, now that I have my pilot holes drilled, I'm going to use, this is actually a finer tooth metal cutting blade in my jigsaw, and I'm going to just stay to the outside of my lines here to make the hole slightly bigger than what I marked, so the switches fit in there nice, and I'm going to cut this guy out the rest of the way. Alright, so I got everything running hooked up. Now the hardest part in the whole install on the 500 anyway was getting the wire run from where the battery is up to the front. Because if you look, the battery is way back here in the box in the back. So you had to fish wires through, underneath, and then up through to come back here into the installed dash panel. Now I had an electrical fish tape, which I was able to run this from back here the whole way up through, and that made pulling wires a breeze. But if you don't have one of these, what you may have to do is tear, the seats off, the panels off, so then you can get in there a little better to fish wires. Either that or go from underneath and take the skid plates off. Either way, it's going to be a little more work involved, but it's definitely doable. As far as fastening the switch plate, I just used some coarse thread screws I had laying around. They work perfect. As you can see here, I have my voltmeter. Now the nice thing I like about this voltmeter is that it also doubles as a USB charger. And you have the switch here. Again, it will turn my voltmeter on and read. But the nice thing like this is, although it has this cover over it to protect the USB charger, you're still able to read the voltmeter through. Alright, so the switch plate panel for the 1005 is going to go right here. As you can see, I've already removed the big, bright, in-your-face warning panel that comes on these. So that's where this plate goes for this. Now, as you can see here, again, the holes that Justin cuts in these lines right up with the old holes, which will make it easy to install this. So same as the 500, all we got to do is to cut our plastic out to allow the switches to pass through. I'm going to hold my plate up here, line up my mounting holes, kind of center it here in the opening a bit as best as I can. And then I'm going to go ahead and trace here. Now these two center holes will have to be drilled out too, as there are no holes there. So I'm going to go ahead and mark them as well. So then I know where I can drill some. I guess there is one here at the bottom, but the one at the top's not there. Cut. Don't need hammer drill. Oh, I need the jigsaw. Now, even though I know there's nothing behind this, there is just that little bit of fear whenever you cut into a $17,000 machine like this, especially because I haven't even had this for a year yet. It's like, oh, I hope I don't do anything to it. But that's all part of customizing. Sorry for you staring at the back of my head. Hey. Look, Ma, I made a hole. Check and make sure we got enough clearance. Ooh, I like it. All right, drill these holes. Oh, plastic shavings all over, making a mess. All right, so now I got my wires run from the battery. Now what I'm going to do is we have the power from the battery, which is going to get hooked up here into the switch. Now when your 4-post switch is like this, usually the bottom and the top are what's separated. So like I say, if I hook my power up to the bottom, it's going to be off until I hit the switch, which is going to connect the lower and the upper, and then that'll feed power out of the switch. So my power into the switch, I'm going to hook up here to the bottom, and then I will have a jumper cable run from the upper post which will run power then when I flick my switch. Now the circuit's complete, the power will go through here, and that'll run just right over here and into where my voltmeter is going to be. Now I need to make sure I get my ring here that will tighten my voltmeter on the wires on the back side, otherwise I'll have no way to fasten it. Now your voltmeters have usually marked a plus and a minus there, so my power wire of course is going to go to the positive terminal. The minus is going to go on my black wire here, which is my negative, on my battery terminal. We'll give her a test run, hit the switch, comes on 12.8. So now we'll line this up, push her in the hole, and then I'll tighten the securing in the back to make sure she doesn't go anywhere. So now it's just the exact same process for the secondary battery. Alright, so here we go. We got the 1000 switch plate all in and buttoned up. Again, I put both my voltmeters on switches so that I can turn them on and off as need be. So now no matter what accessories we run, we'll be able to keep an eye on our batteries to make sure we're not overstraining the system. So as far as installation on the switch plate panels themselves, super easy to do. The most involved thing is having to cut out the plastic of the dash for where your switches or gauges or whatever you're installing in the panels themselves have to go. The only tools you need for the panels is a drill bit to drill out the rivets of the factory warning plates, some kind of saw in order to cut that plastic out, and then somehow to fasten the plates, either screws, bolts, rivets. You know, I leave that up to you guys, whatever you want or whatever you have lying around that'll work. Like the screws that I use are just screws I had lying around that work perfectly for now. So if you guys want to pick up a panel for your own Pioneer, then you can get a hold of Justin either by going to his Facebook page, which is Pioneer Switch Panels and Accessories, which I'll leave a link in my description below that'll take you right there. Or if you're a member of the Honda Side by Side Club, he is username Mystic1219 on there, so you can send him a message through the forum. And Justin usually keeps various layouts of his plates on hand, ready to ship. If you need something specific, then all you have to do is let him know and he can tailor the panel to fit your needs. Again, that's Pioneer Switch Panels and Accessories. It's a great product that can fit anyone's budget. So until next time, guys, it doesn't matter what you ride as long as you ride. So keep on riding. Wunderbar!